Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Another episode for you all tonight. Hope everyone is doing well, having a good work week. Happy Tuesday. Tonight we are going to work on, I think this is day 47. I can't remember. Day 40.
Welcome to Jeremy.
There was Jeremy. Day 41 of Jeremy IT Labs. This is the Syslog lab, but I'm actually going to do two technologies here. We're going to configure Syslog, and we'll work through these questions here. I took a screenshot from the lab itself because I actually want to build it ourselves. And then we'll do some SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, and they're kind of paired together. So we'll be able to see a bit how those work in tandem. So to get started, I wanted to, I think I mentioned this the last video I did, but I want to start building the networks for these labs myself. And then as you can see, there are a few things that are implied, like, oh, this has some different authentication built into it. We'll need to configure telnet access, etc. And I'm new to those, so it'll be good practice. So let's get started. First, I'll configure the topology here, and we'll go from there. So let me just slide that over, and I'll kind of glance over it and bring it back as I need to. So we're going to have a switch in the middle. We will have a server. And then it looks like we're going to have two PCs, PC right here, and a PC here, and then a router. And this PC will hook into the router over a console port, console. All right, and then the rest will hook together with straight through cable. So we'll set that up real quick. Everything is going to be on the same 192.168.1 subnet, so I don't believe we will need to set up any routing. Go ahead and finish this one. All right, and now let's see, we need to set up IP addresses. So we'll start on the router. CLI. No, en conf t interface. Let's see, do show IP or do show interfaces. No, I don't want that. Do show IP interface brief. Enter brief. Gigabit 000. All right, so interface gigabit 000. We'll go in there and we'll say IP address 192.168.1.1, and that's at 255.255.255.0, so /24, and we'll say no shut to bring it online. All right, the server is .100 in the same subnet, so let's go ahead and configure that. Fast Ethernet 192.168.1.100 /24. And we'll go ahead and I think we want to set the default gateway to the router. So 192.168.1.1. All right, so that's complete. This PC is .12. Fast Ethernet 192.168.1.12, and that's a /24, which will get filled in automatically. Okay, that's that. Anything else? All right, so bringing this back over, I think we have the IP addresses all set. PC 0 up here does not have an IP address. This console line is as though we would be, how you would connect to a device in the field over the console line if you weren't doing it remotely. All right, so, and you don't need to have an IP address set up for routing or IP connectivity between them, because that data will travel specifically over the terminal or over the console line from terminal to CLI of the device you're connecting to. All right, so first of all, router 1, the username is Jeremy, password CCNA, enable password CCNA. So that is one thing I want to get some practice configuring. So let's jump back in here. Okay, so if I say username, and we'll do show top, question mark, and then password. This is creating a local user, and password question mark, and we'll do 0, and then the password. So we'll say CCNA. All right, and now that we have this local username and password set up, we can say line, and then we can tell it for example, console or VTY. When we're logging in remotely, we can say, hey, I expect you to require a username or a password or both when somebody logs into, moves onto the console, logs into the host, or remotely logs in via Telnet or SSH or something like that. So let's do console first. Line console 0. And then we are in line configuration. And so I think we can say login, and we can say local. That way, I think it requires the username and password. There we go. And I think that's it. Let me get back out of this and we'll test it in a second. I'm also going to do VTY. So I'm going to say line VTY 0 question mark. And, oh, I see. Let me do exit. Line VTY 0 to 15. And I think that is like the number of concurrent sessions you can have. And the max is 15. We're going to say login local again to specify, hey, we want to use that local username and password that we created for remote connections here. So login local question mark, anything? No. And then just anything else. I don't think we need to set this password, but let's test it. All right, so if I, okay, so I jumped all the way back, and now getting back onto the CLI to get, press return to get started. Clearly now I have to use a username and password. All right. Now to password protect enable, I don't recall how to do that. Let me look it up real quick. Cisco router, how to set password for enable. Which one is that? Okay, so for your terminal, enable password, enable secret. To set the actual password, is recommended to use enable secret, provides stronger, blah, blah, blah. All right, so yeah, okay. So conf t, enable secret, and then what else do we need? All right, so I'm going to do the 0, CCNA, question mark, exit, exit. All right, so now we have to do a password when we get onto the host from the CLI, and when we go into the elevated user mode. And in a moment, I would like to test that when we telnet to this thing, that we are also forced to. So let's do that real quick. So this thing's IP address is 192.168.1.1. All right, so let me just do, first of all, 192.168.1.1. That is the default gateway. All right, so this thing has it. So now I'm going to do command prompt, and I'll say telnet 192.168.1.1. Username showtop ccna. All right, so now I'm on the router. Okay, so that's, and then I think if I do en, I'll require password again. So I'm remotely logged into the router, which is exactly what we wanted to test via telnet. All right, so that's all done. Let's pull our screenshot back up. Okay, so router 1 is configured to have some basic security with a username, password to be able to log on to it. Connect to R1's console port using PC2. Okay, shut down the gigabit 000 interface. After you receive a syslog message, re-enable the interface. What is the severity of the syslog messages? Okay, so let's try that. So for the console or the terminal or the console line connection, you actually have to use the terminal app here. So we do OK. All right, so here we are. We're already on from PC1. And what did it say for us to do? Shut down that interface. So let's do interface conft interface gigabit, let's do 001, no shut, and then we'll do shut. All right, and now what, so we did that. After you receive a syslog message, re-enable the interface. So we did that basically. What is the severity level of the syslog messages? So the severity level is 5. And I believe that's notification. The name is notification, but let me just, syslog severity level 5 is what? Syslog, it's notice, and I think another word for it is notification. Yeah, 5 is notice, normal but significant conditions. Okay. Enable timestamps for logging messages. All right, so let's see. There is, I believe, another term that we need to use, and I think it's service. It is timestamps log date time milliseconds, and I think that's it. All right, so now we will do the same thing and see if we get, instead of just these random messages, do we get timestamps on them? So let me go ahead and go to interface gigabit 001 again, and we'll say no, we'll say shutdown, or maybe no shut. I can't remember which one it is. All right, and now as you can see, we've got on our log message there, our notification, a timestamp. And so I'll just do shut again. All right, so I think that's for task 1. We've done all those, enable timestamps for logging messages. All right, so now telnet, which we just did, from PC1 over here to R1's G00 interface. Watch the video to learn how. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We already set that up. Enable the unused G01 interface. Why does no syslog message appear? All right, let's try that. So let's telnet back into this thing. It's already configured. Press enter. Oh wait, nope, that was incorrect. I don't want to go to the terminal. I want to go to the command prompt and telnet from the command prompt. All right, and username is showtop ccna. All right, en ccna conft interface gigabit 001 shut, no shut. And yeah, no syslog messages. All right, so why? I assume because we are remotely connected and we haven't configured the router to display syslog messages for a VTY, a remote connection. Only for the console have we done that. All right, so what is it telling us to do? Enable the unused G01 interface. Why does no syslog message appear? Enable logging to the VTY lines for the current session. There is no logging monitor command in Packet Tracer, but it's enabled by default. All right, so let's see. Logging, user info, buffered, console, host, set console logging. Let's see. Did that work? I don't know. Let's go to interface data 1, say no shut, say shut. No, that did not work. So that was not correct. Let's try line VTY 015 and go into this thing, question mark, logging, synchronized message output, transport, speed, stop bit, session limit, parity, mot-d, logging, login. I don't know, is this it? Let's try that. And if not, I'll have to Google it. I don't know. Interface, no shut, that is not it. All right, so how to enable logging to VTY lines. How to enable logging to VTY lines, Cisco router. Enable conft, oh, terminal monitor. What the heck? Terminal. And do I need to be where? Question mark. I don't even see a terminal. Terminal, oh, from here, from just the privileged user, terminal monitor. Okay. So now let's try conft interface gigabit 001, no shut. There we go. Shut. And it has a timestamp, so that's good. All right, so enable VTY lines, blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's do this. Do show logging. So it shows us a little bit. So we have logging enabled for the console at level debugging. We have the, I guess for the CLI or for the VTY is turned on. The next step, enable logging to the buffer and configure the buffer size. Okay, so 0 messages dropped, trap logging, level informational, 15 messages, 15 message lines logged. Okay, so how do we, I think I already saw this, didn't I? Service, question mark, that's not it. Logging, question mark, where do we got to do? Logging, buffered. Set it to 8192. Question mark, I didn't check to see if there's anything in that. Okay, so logging is buffered. All right, so we did that. Now I wonder if I generate logs, again, going into this interface and saying no shut, and then shut to generate some logs. Can I view the logs? So let's say do show logging, log buffer, 8192 bytes. How to view logs in log buffer Cisco router. It says show logging. This command displays the contents of the internal logging buffer, which stores recent log messages. The output, no, that doesn't seem right. Let's see, show logging question mark. Do show logging question mark. Line 0, 15. Do show logging. Line? What does that mean? Zero. Question mark 15. I don't know what that means. So buffered logging, oh, so 0 messages are there. Okay. Level debugging. Cisco packet tracer. Logs not being saved in buffer. If logs are not being saved in the buffer in Cisco packet tracer, the logging buffered command might not be enabled or configured correctly. Conf t logging buffered, buffer size or level. Level is optional. Okay. To enable logging with the buffer size. Okay. Informational or a notification. Let's try that. All right. So let's just do this again. Okay. Logging buffered 8192. And then this should take an integer, maybe. Let's say in4. Can't do that. Oh, so Google says that it takes another option, but here it says it doesn't. Use the show logging command in privileged exec mode to view the contents of the logging buffer. All right, so I don't know why that's not working, but there is clearly nothing in show logging. Exit. All right, well, here, there's a command. Okay, show logging. Trap logging, level 18 lines logged, but still no buffered lines. I don't know why that is. I feel like they should be there. Filtering disabled, 5 messages logged, log buffer. Just one more time before I move on, I'm going to do conf t interface gigabit 001 show, no, no shut, no, or shut, no shut. Shut. Okay, exit, exit, show logging. And still no messages logged to the buffer, despite it being enabled. So that's weird. I don't know why. Enable logging to the Syslog server, server 1, with a level of debugging. Okay, so let's see. Conf t logging question mark. This is going to be host, and we can give it an IP address. So in this case, it is going to be 192.168.1.100. We're going to log syslog messages to this remote server. Show top CCNA, EN, CCNA. Was I on the right thing? I'm pretty sure I was. Oh, I was just telnetted. I was telnetted in from here. That's right. Okay, so logging host 192.168.1. What is it? 100. .1.100. Question mark. It tells me that I can specify with a level of debugging, but can I? No, I mean, it doesn't say that I can. Logging host, let's see, question mark. Logging. Enable, for host, set syslog server IP address and parameters. So let me do that real quick. Host, question mark. All right, so it only allows me to do the IP address, okay. Can I do more than that? I don't think so. So 192.168.1.100, question mark. And no, I can't. So I think that might be a packet tracer thing. But anyway, let's generate some logs. Interface, gigabit 001, no shut, exit. All right, so we got some logs generated. CLI initiated, logging to host, blah, blah, blah. All right, now if I do show logging, 0 messages dropped. Oh, wait, trap logging. Nope, I still don't see anything in the buffer. And still nothing logged to the buffer, but clearly other places they're getting logged. Logging exception size, 4096 bytes, count and timestamp, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so anyway, that's all those. So what I want to do next is, let's see, if we go over to the desktop, no, services, we can actually, onto this server, go to the syslog log and see the various logs stored here, which we just saw basically. Administratively down, it'd be nice if I could actually make this bigger, big enough to see. Yeah, so CLI initiated, logging host time, start, stop, blah, blah, blah. All right, host name, so that's interesting. All right, so what else? Now I want to do just a little bit of SNMP. So let's say, for example, we go to desktop. The MIB, what does MIB stand for? Management something something. What does MIB stand for in SNMP? Management Information Base. So basically with SNMP, we can go from a central location and retrieve or deliver information. We can set variables on different network devices. And so I want to just demonstrate configuring that a bit to have server 0 read information about device router 0 using the SNMP protocol. So the first thing that we need to do is, first of all, set up the IP address of the remote device that we want to grab information from, and that's going to be our router. So that'll be, what is it? 192.168.1.100? No. That will be 192.168.1.1. So let's start there. 192.168.1.1. And as you can see, it needs a read community and or a write community. And this is basically just a password that we need to set on the device. So let's come up here. Got all of our syslog messages flowing. En, we did that, conf t, and then there should be a thing for SNMP. Yes, SNMP server community, and this is going just to be a string. I'll make it show top, and that's going to be read and write, not just read, because with write we'll be able to set different variables. All right, and I think that's it. I was thinking that there was a way to set the version, Cisco packet tracer, how to set version of SNMP on router. To configure conf t SNMP server community string RO RW. I did that. Okay. That's it. It doesn't say. For practical purposes in Packet Tracer, you will primarily use community string-based configuration, which aligns with SNMP version 1 and SNMP version 2C. So maybe we can't actually define that. And that actually makes me wonder, all right, so now that that community token is set, which one do I use? Is this thing, there it is. Let's do version 2 then. All right, and what did we say? Show top, I can't make sure I typed that correctly. SHOTOP for read and SHOTOP for write. All right, so now get. All right, so then I think, okay, that's all done. That's all done. Now this MIB tree, I think this gets populated based on what you're connected to maybe. So I'm connected to, or maybe this is always what's populated. And if I've got a multi-layer switch or switches, whatever, they'll be here. Regular layer 2 switches, router, add VIP. I'm not sure what that is. STDs. So I'm just kind of exploring these. I noticed earlier you have to like drill down to get to some useful stuff. It's kind of cryptic. For example, though, system uptime. So now it gets populated, the OID. I think this tree generates this OID. And if we click go, telling it to get the system uptime, let's see what it gives us. All right, so since we started this video and created that router, it's been 28 minutes and 55 seconds. That looks right. And so that's interesting. Let's say name, router, location, doesn't have anything. So now for, let's try to do a set. So we've got that name. Data type is bits. I think that's, unless it's a string. Oh, I think it's got to be a string. And let's do, I don't know, router 99. Send OK. So that did a set, or it's going to do a set. All right, it's changed it to router 99. So let's jump onto the router and press enter, and notice that its host name changed. So you can set different things and update the configuration somewhat remotely. And I bet this is a very powerful tool that's pretty surface level, but just a quick little introduction into how you would configure the community string to be able to connect the SNMP agent on the device and the MIB here and use it to both set and get various values, interfaces, interface number, go. So there's maybe 4 interfaces, if that's what that means. Interface entry, go. SNMP bad value, blah, blah, blah. How about IP route table, go. Can I do get bulk and get the whole routing table? Oh, I can, nice. That's interesting. So that means the table here, get bulk, there we go. That's the interface table. So some interesting stuff you can do there. All right, I think that is the end of the video. So just to recap, we created the topology, enabled some basic authentication, username and password for logging in remotely to the line VTY console, I guess, then to the regular console. There are probably more accurate terms for these that I just don't know off the top of my head right now. But anyway, you need to use a username and password to log on to the host either remotely or when you are consoled in, and when elevating your privileges up to privileged exec mode, I think is what it's called. What else did we do? We configured logging, syslog messages to appear in various places. We don't know why yet. I don't know why yet. The logs were not getting sent to the buffer even though it was enabled, so that was interesting. And then we manipulated some values or some variables and retrieved the values of some variables with SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, which is used to manage network devices from a remote location on the network. Hope you all enjoyed. If if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments, and I'm glad to just engage and just get any feedback from anybody who's watching these. Thank you all. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you all again soon. All right, have a good night. Bye.